Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this is going to be a fun one because we are going to be bringing HellHades himself onto the channel to talk about his experience in going crazy in the champion training event for Chris. You can see right here that he ended up at number 6 and was in a barn burner match versus somebody else that was also at the top of the global leaderboard. So we're going to share both of our perspectives and how we were thinking about the competition and talk about maybe Plarium's point of view or future events. And we're just going to have a casual conversation about the week of crazy stuff going on around the Krisk and Mashaled Mountain King Royal Guard events. So let's get into it. Alrighty, and now welcoming Mr. HellHades, the grand champion himself, fresh off of winning a Krisk. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing really well today. Yeah, much better than I was yesterday. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're looking better than I expected. I figured you'd be looking like Tom Hanks on Castaway. You'd be looking all scraggly, and looks like you've gotten cleaned up and you're ready to get back to normal here.
Yeah, literally, like that's the longest I've ever had a beard. Like longest I've let a beard grow for. I've never been into beards and stuff, and I was just like, you know what? We're just gonna let this ride out for the week. First thing I did this morning, booked a haircut, shaved off my beard, and then yeah, coming after like a decent night's sleep, it was a good feeling.
Yeah, how much were you sleeping? Was it kind of normal sleep schedule, or were you having to make like sacrifices and sleep like 3 hours?
So I was pretty determined to not just let someone else ride my account and that type of stuff, which loads of people suggested it. But basically, for the last 72 hours, I was fully like gamer mode. I was like all in. So probably on the Saturday night, I don't know, went to bed relatively late and was up quite early, up about 7, did my video and then got back on the grind. The Sunday, well, basically I streamed overnight Sunday. So I was up at like 7:30 Sunday morning, like ground the game right through the day, went to see my mum for Mother's Day for a little bit, and then basically from 10 p.m. through till the end of the competition, which for me was midday, I was streaming. So no sleep at all. Just going for it. And it was almost like I was young again. It's like old school gamer. You know what I mean? Like when you were a bit pro.
Yeah, of course.
You're not as old as I am, but it was like one of those. Do it through the night. We're just going to make this work. And yeah, I was feeling tired, but also it was tons of fun as well.
You made my heart sink a little bit. I was like, did I forget Mother's Day? But oh
yeah, a few people said that. UK is different, isn't it?
I was like, oh no, did I seriously just blast past Mother's Day and not even okay. You celebrated a different day though.
Yeah, so that's it. Loads of people were doing it. In the video I put out a couple of days ago, I was like, oh yeah, make sure I see my mum for a cup of tea. And they were like, whoa, hold on a minute. I didn't realize it was. And yeah, it was like, obviously you guys celebrate a different time.
Nice. Yeah. Well, yeah. I just wanted to have a quick conversation because we kind of went 2 different routes, and I was only gonna do it if I was in a group like Cold Brews, where it's like if I can win it for 100K, like yeah, I'll do it. But once I saw that it was gonna take 250, 300 plus K, I was like, okay, I don't really want to go that route. But you did decide to kind of go through with it, and I thought it'd be fun to get your perspective on. Like, was it your first Krisk, by the way?
Yeah, my first Krisk. Yeah. And also the first time I've ever pushed in a tournament like that as well. Interestingly.
Yeah, for like to be like top 5 level on global. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it would have been a dupe Krisk, would you have still done it?
Now I think what I would have done is I would have definitely done the same on the first 2 days. So the first day I was leading quite comfortably. No one was really pushing at all in my group. So I think, and I was thinking to myself, this might just end up being a group, like you say, like a cold brew group. Get myself 50K points, nice and early. Everyone forgets about me and just kind of goes about their day. If it was like a head-to-head like I had, I wouldn't have done it. No way, not for a dupe. It was like mentally and pretty physically tiring, honestly. It was hardcore. And it probably wasn't for me until I was about 3 or 4 days in. I saw that I was going to have a proper fight. And I had to make a call then because I also knew that I had quite a busy weekend. I had to like, properly make a decision. Am I actually going to do this or not? Because I knew it was going to start costing me both money, tons of resources, all that type of stuff. Yeah, so look, Chris has been one of the most kind of wanted champions for me pretty much since he came out. He came out probably a couple of years ago, and it's been the #1 champion I've wanted. And we've had, 2 times void events, tons of times, 10 times events for Chris a couple of times. I've wailed hard on those events, and no Chris has popped up. So kind of just saw it as the best chance of me actually getting this champion that I really wanted, even though I knew it was going to be really hard,
Yep. And were there any other, like, what other champions would you have done the same thing for?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any champions that I would have gone that crazy for. Maybe Yumiko, the new one, who is pretty bonkers. I suppose I would. I would go hard on good legendary champions that were dupes. Honestly, if there was like another Trunda in the mix, or another Warlord pops up, I would go hard, but not to that degree. I would not be pushing like top. If someone looked like they were going global, I wouldn't be going in for it.
Yep, and that was kind of the mindset I had. I would have done the same level for like Yumiko, Sify, because I don't have her, and like Chris.
Do you have Chris?
I do. I don't have Chris. No.
You don't? No. Okay.
I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do like 200+ K points for a dupe. No.
Yeah. And for you then, is that because of resources or is it time? What was the kind of thing which made you just kind of turn around and say, you know what, enough's enough. I'm not pushing anymore.
It was kind of me deciding to say screw it, because like you said, 2 or 3 days in, and you kind of realize this person's not gonna let me win. They're not going anywhere, and you kind of have to make that decision 2 or 3 days in. Am I either gonna quit or am I gonna just go crazy on this? And I decided to quit because it was kind of weird. Like I was kind of refreshing and monitoring live, and the person I could see I was only going up against one person. Everybody else was done.
Yep.
And that one person would play for like 15 minutes and get 30,000 points. Like they weren't even grinding. Like their points were never slowly going up. They would just log in and poof. Stuff. So it made me think like, okay, they must be sitting on just an insane amount. Like they're sitting on 65 5-stars that are ready to rank up or something. Like, because if they're just popping off 15 minutes that many points, I could never see them like grinding. And so I was like, okay, it's obviously going to take me 250 or 300,000 points. And yeah, like given the fact that I still need so many good Void Legos, I don't have a lot of those like Sify, Hegemon, Nekarit, a lot of those ones I don't have. So I was like, because I still need so many, like I'm just going to save for a rainy day, and maybe they'll do this again, because we have seen them do this for like Sir Nick, and I think like Draco was one.
Yeah. I do think, like, looking back now, I was doing almost what you've suggested there. Like I was just farming. Yeah, I didn't do any bursting at all through the week. And I look back now and I just think to myself, look, I don't know what the guy Constant I was up against. I don't know what he would have done, but I wonder if the better tactic is to burst early, and just almost, because it's a mental thing as well, right? It's not just, are you prepared to put the hours in? Are you prepared to go for this? It's, you almost need to beat your opponent mentally as early as you can so that they just give up. If you're going to go for it, you need to decide very early, am I going for this? And if I am, try and put a massive chunk of points out there so that at least, because they don't know what you've got. It's like playing poker. They don't know what you've got. Are you bluffing or not? Have you already kind of like gone all in or not when you shouldn't have done? And obviously we can never know, but I wonder what my opponent would have done if I just used all of my resources like day 2 and tried to blow him out the water. But yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? It's a fun, like it is quite tactical in a way if you can afford to be.
Yeah, and it's also risky because like it's almost like if they call your bluff, like if you burst 100K points and they just keep coming and now they're like ahead of you, and then you're like, well, crap, now I just wasted everything. So yeah, it's touch and go.
Well, the guy I was playing against, he did a massive burst while I was sleeping Saturday night. I went to bed 16K up. I woke up 20K down, and he did a massive burst overnight. And in my head, I thought to myself, if I can actually just get back level with him through farm, then I'm almost certain he has used a load of his resources. And so I went with that mindset you're saying there. I thought, if I can just get myself back in contention here, without burning a load of 6 stars. And come the end, I feel like I'm going to win because I feel like I've got more sitting than he's got. Obviously, I don't know for sure. He could easily have just whaled out tons and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, you just got to kind of play it as you feel it. And for me, that was actually quite a turning point when he pushed hard. I caught him back up going slow, tortoise in the hair type of thing. And then I just stuck with him until the end. And at the end, I was able to do a massive burst and he had nothing left really.
Oh, I have it. You can't see, but I have it pulled up. Which person on the leaderboard were you up against again?
It was TAO Constant. I think it's around 11
Oh, number 14. So 347. 14, okay. Oh, yeah, you ended up winning by like 60K, huh?
Yeah, but when I was live streaming the whole thing. I live streamed the last 14 hours of the tournament. And when I started streaming, I was actually 5K behind him. And sort of through the stream, you know, as I was just kind of tickling away through a Nightmare campaign, I was just slowly gaining. And it got to probably about 2 hours before the end. And I was up a good 40K and it just looked like he'd stopped. You know, and even at that point, I'm still nervous because someone can burst 40K if they've got the stuff sitting there. So I'm still nervous that, you know, they could catch me again. But no, he was done. Just, he'd given up. He'd probably, through looking at the stream, he'd seen what I'd got still to go and just thought, you know what, I can't win at this point.
That's another dynamic is being a content creator. Because, like, your opponent can basically monitor your account. And
yeah.
So I thought, like,
which made me honestly think that he was still going to come back at the end because he has been seeing through the week, not in detail because I'm not giving everything away, but you can see a lot. Like, you can see a lot of what's going on through the week. So yeah, I really just thought he had more stuff to come at the end there. The fact that he pushed so hard through the week and could see what I was doing. But yeah, I mean, there's some people that obviously are very anti-content creators being in the same group of others. Which I get to a certain degree. You know, we do get resources into our accounts, albeit I would counter that with, well, I actually use my resources for content. And, you know, I actually had very little going into this tournament, especially I've been doing this new series called Maximum Damage, like a short every day, just testing out weird and wonderful champions for damage. I literally 60'd some of the most shocking champions over the last 2 months and burnt loads of my chickens, loads of my basically everything, gems, everything. So I didn't really come into this with a load of stuff just sitting around, which is again why I didn't really expect to win. But yeah, just kind of I put some money in, and I think really I put more time in basically.
So in hindsight, you obviously would do the exact same thing because you won, but what if you had lost? Or you don't? Is that not true? Yeah. Like in hindsight, would you just stay out of it?
In hindsight, I actually think I would try and do what Scratch or Cold Brew did. I think day 1 or day 2, I would have put at least 50K on the board, maybe 70K on the board. I had an absolute mammoth day, and see if I could just write someone off. I don't know, actually. I've been thinking about this. Or another tactic could be to not put many points on the board at all. And just because also almost me going hard every day is forcing him to do the same. I think between us, we ended up, because we're seesawing, we're pushing each other. I think we just pushed our resources to the edge where if you sit back 3 or 4 days, as long as they're not going crazy every day and they're getting out of sight, I think actually you probably make them stop. If you look at someone like Scratch, put like 130K on the board day 1, day 2. He didn't really put any more points on the board for the next 2 or 3 days. So, you know, because he didn't feel like he needed to. So I do wonder if pushing every single day is actually one of the worst things.
Well, and I got screwed. Like it was the worst case scenario for me because I said from the start I'm gonna play it smart, and I did. And I was kind of in first place, cruising along, and I was like, I'll go hard, but I'm not gonna go crazy. And literally, the person in second place got in touch with me on Discord, and
all right,
and they were super nice, and they were like, hey, there's no point in both of us being stupid. Like, let's just kind of decide who has more and who's willing to kind of go after it and win. And we talked for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm kind of willing to do about this. And I was like, you know, I feel bad that we have to compete against each other, but this is about what I'm willing to do. And then he was like, yeah, I already have a Chris, so you go ahead and have it. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like, this person's nice. I'm sitting good. I'm in first place. And the person in second gave up. And then like day 2 or 3, someone just came roaring in, like 60,000 a day. And so I really got screwed because I was like, okay,
so you hadn't put the work in. Those first couple of days, you just kind of thought it was done.
Yeah, so it was like worst case scenario for me, because this person was nowhere to be found the first 2 days, and then after I'd already thought it was over, then they come roaring in out of nowhere. So
yeah, I had some funny stuff as well. So the guy I was up against actually put a couple of like, you know, smack talk, banter type of things in my Discord, and he was like, you know, can't stop, won't stop as a meme, like tagging me. And then I had a couple of the TAO guys dropping me DMs saying, look, there's no way you're going to beat him. He's like a wannabe Kraken. He's got unlimited resources. And I don't know if that was, like, looking back, if that was kind of like just a bit of funny banter, or if almost like they were just trying to push me away because, you know, obviously he wanted Chris as much as I found out he doesn't have a Chris either. But yeah, it was, I guess it was all a bit mind games all the way through, really. But it's funny, isn't it? And I've seen a screenshot actually of somebody who changed their name to something like "Don't worry, Chris is yours. I give up." And then it turns out this person ends up first place. Second person's name was "Thanks for that, pal." Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you've got a copy of the screenshot, but it is like absolutely brutal because obviously it's a mind game thing. He's pretending he's given up. Last minute, he swoops in and steals the Chris, and the other dude must just be like, what's just happened?
Yeah, I never believe a word like that. Like it's like in poker, you don't believe what they say they have. Like, hey, trust me, you better fold. I got it. And like, you don't even know what to think. It's like, are they being truthful and trying to make like metagame me? And so it's always like a reverse psychology thing. You basically just have to ignore what your opponents say.
Well, again, while I was streaming, I actually had, I know who the guy is from, eventually I knew who he was anyway, from TAO, and he actually messaged me on Twitch as I was streaming and said, you know, GG, you've got this now, buddy, I concede. This was about half an hour to go, and I was like, and I actually just messaged back and said, GG, mate, I feel bad for you, and I genuinely do. It's like, it's so harsh to lose that way, but I also didn't totally believe it. I was like, you know what? I'm still going to keep grinding out because I'm not going to be kind of tricked and then he absolutely burst me at the end. So
yeah, because then that would be the absolute worst. Like you're like, oh, okay, thanks.
Devastated at that.
And then you give up and lose like that, and you're like, oh, if I'd have just played.
yeah, because you don't know. Like you say, I mean, I play a bit of poker, and the bluff when it's like that, you know, it's almost like the best bluff is, and you can imagine it. You know, the kind of smack talk afterwards, if he's done that to me and then won through it, I mean, it would be awful. I would be like the absolute meme of the whole bloody thing, wouldn't I?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know. Yeah. Anyway, no, it's I don't know. I mean, have you been involved in any of these big events before, like the Sonic one, as in like properly gone for one?
Nope. I try to be really disciplined. I don't really YOLO my stuff. Which you can, you know, say that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a little bit of both. But no, I've never gone crazy when I was lucky enough to have a Sir Nick, so I just completely ignored it because that was back before there was Empowering or Faction Guardians.
Exactly.
So I was like, Sir Nick's not Duchess. Like, I don't need a dupe. So yeah, I just stayed completely out of it. And then same thing with Draco. I was lucky enough. I actually pulled a Draco before they buffed him when he was bad.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that would have been only 2 other times. And then this is like the 3rd one they've done. And this is by far the craziest one. And I think if I had to guess, Plarium will probably do this again. Because I'm sure it was a pretty hype week for the raid community. And I'm sure they made a decent amount of money.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the most I've spent on raid in a long time, probably in over a year, you know, in terms of, and it's also most I've like played the game in terms of time on the game and stuff. And clearly we play the game a lot in terms of time. You know, just doing your daily grind is a lot of playing. But yeah, so equally, I didn't get involved in any of the other ones before, and kind of my only reference point really was seeing the Saffron Man do the kind of last day grind and losing out by a couple of thousand points in the last minute, or in the last few hours when he was going for Sir Nick. And I was in the same boat as you, actually. I had a Sir Nick. I actually kind of put videos out to say, look, if you've got one, don't go for it. Let someone else get one. And as you say, that's before you got empowerment and stuff going on. So, things have changed. Pretty much all of the high-end players probably would have gone for it this time around, whereas they might not have done in other ones. But yeah, it's a brutal format of competition, and especially because of the length of it, right? 7 days.
Yeah,
so if you're
because most of them are usually like 3 days is like their typical 72-hour event, but they of course more than double it.
Yeah, because once you've done 3 or 4 days of grinding, it then, I think someone told me a phrase for poker, something like pot locked or pot committed, something like that.
Yeah, pot committed. Yep.
Yeah, so you're kind of in that position of, I've put all this work into it. I've already put resources into it. Maybe you've spent a couple of quid on packs by then. And at that point, you're like, well, I don't want to give up now. So you start buying up stuff that perhaps you wouldn't normally have bought up. And that's, when you're on day 5, day 6, and it's like I was in this kind of 2-horse race, which was going to go to the wire. I bought packs that I never would have bought before. So yeah, ashamedly, I guess. But at the end of the day, you kind of do what you feel you need to do to win. But yeah, it was definitely kind of brutal format of competition.
So, hypothetically, let's say in a month they do one for Yumiko. Would you go crazy again, or would you be like, you know what, that's just too soon. I'm not getting into that madness again.
I think a month would probably be too soon. I don't know. I tend to have in terms of spending, I tend to have an amount. That's what I want to spend in a month. And I kind of do it month by month, really. But I don't know, something like Yumiko, I'd probably sit here. I'd be lying if I didn't say I'd be keen to go for it. I don't think I would go for it in the same way. I don't think I would push every single day of a grind. I would definitely tactically do it differently. Perhaps sit on my hands for the first 2 or 3 days and see what happens in the group. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I wouldn't get involved, because especially if I don't have that champion, it's kind of like one of the best champions in the game. It's pretty nuts. Also, as a content creator, I feel like we're in a slightly different position anyway, or certainly I felt like I was this time, because actually the community really enjoyed the tussle. They really actually were enjoying the battle between me and someone else. So from a content point of view, it's actually really good fun to do.
Yeah, it's like the people the people that are fans, they want to see you win, and then the people that don't like your content want to see you get beat. So it's
you kind of get both people wanting to watch.
Yeah. So it ends up being like a sport almost, because people are going to watch no matter what, if they like you or not.
Yeah, exactly. So from a content creator point of view, the tournament was great. I think from a general player base point of view, these type of tournaments I think need to be mixed up a bit. I think they do with being just a bit of a different way they do the prize giving, a different way they kind of pull people into the groups. It's certainly not, for me, it's not perfect. I think they could make a lot of money and do it better for the community. For me, what's your view on that? Do you think it kind of works in its current format?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's so hard. Like any game like Raid, it's never gonna be perfectly fair when players are against each other. For it to be fair, they'd have to like put a cap on people's spending, like a spending limit, and obviously no company's gonna do that.
That's the last thing they want to do. Yeah.
So that'd be the only way to make it fair, is like, hey, we're doing this Krisk event and the spending max is $100 during this week, but they're never gonna do that. So yeah, it's tough. I think you could maybe kick around, if you really cared about your players a lot, you could kick around the idea of like, second and third place, they get like this huge energy reward if they, like they get 10,000 energy for getting second place or something. So it's like, I understand you spent a ton and you lost, and the winner is going to get this champion, but at least you're getting like 10,000 energy. Like, Yeah, I don't know. There's no perfect way to do it. You could kick around something like that.
I was thinking something like like second place all the way down to something like 10th. Maybe it's life tokens, maybe it's just weaker champions, but I just don't like the feel of literally first place. You get this absolutely top tier prize. Second place really is an invisible prize. Like second and down, it's like thanks for coming, you didn't win. That's basically the way it feels. And even people that got onto the global leaderboard, top 100, there's actually a good chunk of those people, probably a good 20 of those people that didn't actually win. And the global leaderboard is laughable for me. The global leaderboard, I actually wouldn't be upset if there was another copy of Krisk all the way down that global leaderboard, or somebody else. But you know what? Because a dupe system's a thing now, giving people 2 Krisk is actually not that bad for the game. And kind of, even if you didn't win your group, at least you were guaranteed a Krisk if you hit that global leaderboard.
Yeah. But I guess the counter argument would be like the whales get even further ahead. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah, I do get it. I do get that. I just feel like, I guess it's a fair argument. I just feel like the current format in terms of rewards, maybe it needs to be more along the lines of, the rewards on the right hand side are stronger. So the guaranteed rewards for everybody that hits certain thresholds. Let's say you hit 50k, you're guaranteed 1,000 life tokens. If you hit, 100k, guaranteed 3,000, whatever it is. But something which is actually worthwhile and worth kind of that extra bit of push for, because I actually think it would make Plarium more money as well. Those people that sat 10th place and thought, I'm just not going to be able to get there, I'm just not going to be able to win. Maybe you're one of those people. You might have been thinking, well, okay, I won't win this, but I will still push for that top tier reward piece, which I actually still want.
I think all good ideas. There's definitely ways to improve it. That's for sure. It's just getting the middle ground negotiation of what's good for Plarium and what's good for the players, and that's like the tug of war. They want to make money, and the players want a good game, and you got to find that like middle ground.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how do you think it? Obviously, we don't get this information, but how do you think it compares to some of their big shard events for them actually making cash?
I think they probably made more with something like this, if I had to guess. I can't see the analytics, but I think people tend to like save up shards and then pull them every 6 weeks during that respective 2x. I think for this, we really didn't get that much of a teaser for it either. It was kind of like, we think it's coming for a few days and then boom. So it was more of like a rush or a call to arms where people kind of are forced into, and that's true. That's like marketing 101. You want to force people into quick decisions. That's why every infomercial you watch says call in the next 20 minutes and get they're not actually sitting in a call center counting down from 20 minutes. They're just saying that to make you think you have to act right away. So yeah, I think they probably made more because of those reasons on an event like this.
Yeah, it's funny, like you say. I think there was probably more impulse purchases in this type of event. Almost like I probably wouldn't have bought that if this event wasn't running. Whereas Shard Pact, you might just buy it. If you're somebody who spends, you might just buy them anyway. And if you're not, then obviously you don't buy them. It's as simple as that.
And also I think it's the PvP aspect. Like in Shard events, you're not going up against someone. In this, there's like the pressure of, I don't know what, there's like the human element. It's like, I don't know what they're going to do. I might have to buy this if they do. So I think there's so many dynamics at play that probably make this a little bit of a bigger hitter than like the 2x events.
Yeah, and I think you're right, actually. That's actually a really, really good point. Like knowing to yourself that you're actually having to compete with someone and trying to second guess what they're going to do is huge. Yeah, you're right. That's massive. It is massive. A Shard Pool, you're just kind of trying to measure your own conscience. and do you feel like you've got enough expendable income to do this or not? If you're going to spend, and if not, are you going to stretch it anyway? You know, that's the type of thing that goes through your head, I think, as a shard, yeah, in a shard event. But this is kind of more like it can get under the skin of, I just want to win. Not even so much I really want Chris. It can get to the point of, no, I just want to beat this guy now. And that's, I guess, exactly what Plarium want it to be.
It's not about winning, it's about sending a message.
Yeah, definitely. And I was probably a little bit in that boat when I started to get that banter coming in saying, you know, there's no way you're beating this guy. It did get me to the point where I was like, well, hold on a minute. I can play this game hard.
Well, I saw the same thing happened to Cold Brew. Wasn't someone in his group saying, like, don't bother, I'm going to crush you? And then Cold Brew ended up getting Chris for free. So I guess that person was going for, like, psychology. Like,
yeah, I guess, I mean, Cold Brew did that kind of early push, didn't he? And I think it was another creator, wasn't it? One of the French guys, Rumsey, I think.
I think so, yeah. But someone in Cold Brew's group was telling him, "Don't even bother. I'm gonna crush you. Like, save your resources." Right. And then they ended up doing nothing.
Yeah, weird.
But yeah, no, that's really all I wanted to cover today, and kind of as an excuse to get you on the channel. I know it's been a while, but
nice. Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Unless you wanted to chat about something that I forgot to ask or bring up, I'd be happy to talk about it. But
yeah, look, I think after an exhausting 72 hours, it's kind of nice to just have a bit of a chat through it. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I don't think I've got anything else to add, honestly.
Yeah, hopefully we get a little bit of a break. When was the Sir Nick one? That's probably been over a year at this point.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, maybe it was just like this was probably planned for the 3rd anniversary, I think. I'm not sure if Sir Nick dropped on the 2nd anniversary or around that time, or was it a Christmas thing? I don't remember. But yeah, no more than every 6 months these pop up today. Yeah,
and I think you need some time to recover, but yeah, man, no, it was fun. Thanks for sharing your perspective with me, and congrats on the Chris.
Thanks. No doubt there'll be a ton of Chris videos popping up.
Yeah, there you go. Soon. There you go. All right, well, thanks, man. Have a good one.
Cheers, man. Catch you later.
So alrighty, that's going to do it for this one. And obviously, massive shout out to HellHades for taking the time to join me today and sit down and talk about some of this stuff. I'm going to link to his channel down below. He's one of the best to do it. So I'm sure you already know about his channel, but you can find that link down there in the vid description and the pinned comment. Nice and easy to get over to his channel and check out some of his most recent stuff. So that'll do it for me on this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.